one of the things I want to do, I want to share two stories. One is on being able to take massive action in your life, and this will also help other people take action as well. How many here would like to have your clients take massive action? By show of hands, yes? We got half the room, all right, good. The other half is like, nah, I don't want anybody to take action in my stuff. Sweet. So we do want action takers, because action takers are money makers. And that is a principle that's tried and tested. And I think back on some of my resistances in my life, and I had a lot of resistance to change. I was terrified to take action many times because I had taken action, and then I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust, is this the right thing? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if this doesn't work? And I'm a big fan of family history stuff. And I actually have a story of a Viking ancestor. Anybody fans of Vikings, or maybe not the teams, but all right, cool. So I have a Viking ancestor, and this is a true story. It's actually in my first book that I wrote. And one of my ancestors, there was this essential race, right? And I kind of imagine it that how they laid it out is they have all these different Vikings, and they say, okay, the first person to touch this island gets to become the owner of the whole land. So it was this essential race, and think about it. Imagine you get to own an entire island. This today would be worth millions, if not tens of millions of dollars of value. So imagine having a goal or a vision worth millions or tens of millions of dollars. How many have a vision or a mission that's worth millions or tens of millions or more by your business? By show of hand. Yeah, hopefully so. If not, you'll get there. We need to expand that vision. So he had this vision, and there was a race. The first person to touch it gets it, okay? So there's a goal. There's an outcome. And he's going, and the race is on. So I imagine my ancestor, I'm sure he had to decide. I loved what was your name? Darren was sharing about seeing it before happening. And I imagine my Viking ancestor saw it. He was visualizing it. He probably had this decision that nothing was going to stop him from creating this, from getting it. I'm sure he felt it. He embodied it because he was an action taker, and he did whatever it took to create his goals. So as they're going, circumstances happen where he's actually losing. He's not going to make it. He's not going to be the first one to touch. How many here have ever experienced where you set a goal and then obstacles come and you're like, dang, this wasn't what I wanted. Like, yeah, I didn't foresee this obstacle, right? We don't sometimes see the obstacles till they happen. Yet, if you have the outcome in mind and that vision of what you want and who you want to be and how you want to leave the legacy, I think that's what he led with. So much so that he was willing to sacrifice whatever it was to nail that goal. So they're going and going and going, and he gets to the point where there's one ship that's slightly ahead of him, and he can't do anything about it. Circumstances. So he had a choice. He could give up, quit, say, well, I guess it's not in the cards. Guess it's not God's will. Guess maybe next time. Maybe next year. Maybe next lifetime. He could have given up. But instead, he thought very outside of the box. Now, I'm not telling you have to do this to attain your goals, but my Viking ancestor took his left hand, and he took his right hand with a hatchet, and he severs off his hand, grabs it, and throws his hand. No joke. And it hits the island before the other ship. So he becomes the owner of the entire island. Our family crest is a hand. His name's the Black Stranger. So you can look him up. It's crazy. And I think about our goals. I think what are we fighting for? What's our vision? What do we want in life? And sometimes we settle so much. We're like, hey, yeah, I want to go make $1 million. I want to go create this legacy. I want to go help people. And then we set the goal, and as soon as resistance comes, we settle. We say, well, that's a little tough. I don't know. I didn't foresee this. I'm just going to give up. Must not have been God's will. Must be too hard. Must be for someone else. Or because of our vision, our decision, we are not tied to the how. Like, I'm sure he didn't visualize cutting off his hand to throw. I don't think he was like, I can't wait to cut off my hand today to go get this thing. I don't think that was in his vision, right? But his vision was so solid about what he wanted. When the how stopped, he had to get really creative. Some of us have to learn how to get creative, to do things outside of the norm. If you do that, you will become unstoppable. You will. Some of you will get stopped every single day. Some of you are getting stopped in your marriage or in your relationships, with your health, with your finances, and you're allowing it to stop you because the vision is smaller than your situation and circumstance. Raise your vision. Get a bigger vision. If you don't have opposition, it's because your vision's too small. The resistance comes up when you're ready to live a bigger purpose. So that, I want to share that because hopefully that'll inspire some of you, whether you do something today or tomorrow or next year, to get you into action to create what you want, because it's about vision. What's it about? Vision. What's it about? Vision. Let's all do it together. What's it about? Vision. Turn to somebody, fist bump them, and say, it's about vision. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So that brings me to the second experience. And this one is kind of an interesting experience, but it really changed my life around money. Is it okay if I share a little story? It involves God, money, decision-making, victim mentality, poverty thinking, and hopefully it'll inspire some of you to let go of that. Is that okay if I share this with you guys? Okay. 11 years ago, so my wife and I have been married 11 years last week, or was our anniversary. And 11 years ago, I started on this journey of coaching and transformation. And I remember going to, this was when I had I think it was like $1,200 in my bank account right now. I was the massage therapist still, but I was transitioning to become a speaker because I felt led to, and I was like, I think God has something bigger for me. I'm going to let go of this whole career. And I was studying to become a doctor of natural medicine. I was already invested in it, but I let go of it all. And I was like, I'm just all in because that's how I roll. And I'm either going to fail or succeed, or I'll probably fail and then succeed. So the worst case scenario is fail, and then eventually I'll succeed. So I was willing to sacrifice and do whatever it took. And I remember going to this event. It was one of the first virtual events, or it was an in-person event like this, except there was like 400 people in the room. And this guy does an offer from stage. And back then, it was a lot of money for me. More than I had in my bank account, a lot more than I had access to. And I didn't have any credits in my name. I didn't have any ways of thinking about making money. But I was in the back. I was volunteering because I didn't even have enough money to pay for a ticket to go to the thing. So I was like, all right. And I'm in the back of the room, like helping. And the guy does this offer from stage. And when I watch the offer, I think, this is what I need. Like, that's the thing. Like, I truly felt I was led here to do this. And then my logic kicked in. Oh, well, I don't have the money, though, and maybe I'll wait next time, and it'll probably be around a year from now, and I don't have any money. Like, I can't buy this. I can't afford that. And I had all these thoughts and feelings hit me around money. But I will forever be grateful for this experience. And I've had a few of them in my life that I really, truly believe God just was like smacking me to the side, be like, Tyler, you've got to change, brother. Like, if you want to get where you're going, you've got to change. And this was one of those moments for me. I remember as if it was yesterday, I was standing in the back, and all the people were running to the back of the room. They were going and signing up for this thing. And here I am. I know this is what I need. Anyone ever felt like you know you need to do something, but like logically there's no way in your brain that it's possible? Anyone know that and ever felt that before? It's a sucky feeling. And I was in there and I had this voice that said, Tyler, who are you going to serve? Money or me? And it was weird because everybody was clapping, running to the back of the room, but I had like this internal, it was like a movie. And I was standing there, and everybody's going and doing it, and I'm like, who am I going to serve? Like, what? Like, my whole life, I've always wanted to connect to God and help people and serve and do good, be a good son, and all these things. And in this moment, it clicked. Because the voice said, who are you going to serve, Tyler? Money or me? And in that moment, I realized that my whole life, I had let money be the decisioning factor and not God. And I thought, well, of course I want to serve God. Of course I want to live my mission. Of course I want to do like the right thing. I just don't have it. Like I can't come up with that kind of money. And then the voice, who are you going to serve? Money or me? And I remembered some stories. Anyone remember the story from the Bible? I think there's an apostle and he has to pay taxes. He's like, I don't have any money. He's like, go catch a fish. And he catches it and there's money in the fish's mouth. You ever heard of that story? So I thought, holy cow, he didn't have the money either, but he had the faith. I have been a victim to money my whole life because all of my decisions have been based off of money or whether I had it or not. If I truly had faith in a creator and believed in myself more, I would figure out a way. It was like the most coolest, most scariest experience of my life. And I remember making a decision, I don't ever want to be a slave to money. It made me sick in my stomach. I was like, my whole freaking life, I've been a victim and a slave to poverty, a victim and a slave to money. And I have made so many decisions out of lack, fear of making offers, fear of getting and going and doing more and having more. And I was done. I made a decision in that moment, which to decide means to sever off, to cut away, just like my ancestor. Cutting off his hand, to me, that represents he severed off the ability to fail. It was not a decision. It was not an option to fail. And I had to sever off that old self to say, I am done being a victim to money, and I'm going to choose when I am led somewhere to do what I need to do. So I got creative, and I was like, to do that, I've got to be different, and I got to act different. So I didn't actually have any money, so I was like, all right, I'm all in. I'm making the decision. I'm going to do this somehow. And then I started calling people, which I never asked for money. Anybody hate it asking people for money? Who's like me and you're like, I'm going to figure it out myself. I don't like asking people for money. Don't like borrowing money. Yeah. So I was that way, and I was like really prideful about it. Like, I make my own way. I don't ask for money. I'm not weak. Making $13,000 a year. So I was like, okay. I started calling people. Everybody I knew, left and right. Like, hey, I got this thing. It's this much. It's super expensive, but I need a loan, and I need some credit cards. Can you hook me up? And I called, like, my mom, and she's like, no, I can't help you. And I was like, okay, love you. And I was like, okay, my dad. And then like, no, I can't help you. And I was like, okay. And I called I was like, my sister, she's a sucker for everything. I was like, she'll help me. So I like called my sister, and her husband is like a mechanical engineer. So I was like, maybe they have something, right? And he's like, well, why are you doing this? I had a vision. My vision was, and I told him, I am tired of not living my mission. I am tired of being a victim to money. I am tired to just settling. And I know that there's something inside of me that needs to be shared with other people. I don't know what that is, but there's some dude who's going to help me. And that's why I'm here. And I don't know how fast I can pay this back. That's what I was like. I was like, I don't know how fast I'm going to be able to pay this back, but I promise I will. And with certainty, I enrolled them in the idea of loaning me all the money. And I bought the program. I learned from that day, it's never about money, but it's always about your vision. Why are you doing what you're doing? Is your vision big enough to carry your old identity away, to help you sever that off so that you can stop being a victim to time, to money, to struggle, and allow yourself to truly step into whatever it is? Whether it's working with candy, whether it's someone else outside of somewhere, it's do where you feel called to do. Go where you feel called to go. Buy what you feel called to buy, even if you don't know how. Number one, it creates a powerful story. What does it create? A powerful story. Because other people are going to be in a similar position like you one day, and when you're helping them, you need to be able to look back and say, hey, I know how that is. I've been there, but I overcame it, and so can you. Does that make sense? So how you do one thing helps other people down the road. And that's why I learned to love selling, because I realized that every sale is a transformation waiting to happen. And so I did it. I bought the program. I did the stuff. I started to learn how to speak from stages. I did all these things. And then I made millions of dollars. No, I was dirt broke still. I was like, crap, I'm not making any money still. I bought the program. I invested big. I was like, God, why am I not succeeding still? I'm following your path. Like, I'm all in. But I still struggled. And I was so desperate that in this time, I was doing all this stuff. I was like, okay. And I heard Jim Rohn. I was listening to him. And his CD was saying, hey, you just need to talk to more people. Right? Anybody ever heard some of his, it's good stuff. But it was network marketing. I was like, you just got to talk to more people. So I was like, oh, that's my problem. I'm not doing the skills. I'm not doing the top of the equation like I taught. So then I drove, because I was in a small town. Nobody was around me, so I didn't have any influence there. And there was no one to network with. So I was like, okay, I'm going to drive 30 minutes away to Springfield, Missouri, because I was in Branson, Missouri, and there's nobody around because it was the dead season. So I was like, okay. And I go to Springfield, and I'm like dedicated. My wife's pregnant and sick in bed, can't make any money. I'm on my last $400. And literally, like, I just bought this big program, doing the things, still not getting results. So talk about opposition. Did I make a good choice? What am I doing? I'm just going to let my family down. I'm not going to be able to make this back. Am I actually supposed to coach and teach? What if I fail at this? And it was as if all hell was just attacking me. So I was like, all right, Jim Rohn's my mentor. Go talk to more people. So I drove. And I'm like, I'm just going to talk to people until they buy. So I go and I knock on all the wrong doors. I knocked on a bank, AT&T store. I didn't know my message. I didn't know anything. I just knew talk to people. So I knocked on all the doors, and I was like, hey, I'm Tyler Watson. I didn't even have any, I was like in a polo shirt and sneakers, and I'm Tyler Watson, and I'm a business coach, and I help you scale your business. And I had no idea what I was selling. It was so horrible. And what I did was I'd go share, then I'd go back in my car, and I'd write about all the opposition, and I'd just cry it out. I was like, man, I suck. I can't sell anything. I'm a horrible person. I literally feel like I'm alone. I have no one's giving me the time of day. They think I'm stupid. I'm not going to succeed. I can't do this. And I just went on and on and on. And fortunately, I had a little process that I went through. And so then I worked through it. And I did it again and again. And I talked to 10, 15, 20, almost 26 different companies in 2 days. And I got zero. Nothing. So I find myself at this little strip mall. You ever seen those strip malls with a bunch of little shops? And I was like, well, maybe there's something here. So I pull in, talk to some chiropractors. They're like kind of nice. And I'm like, what the heck do I do? Like, I need some guidance. So then I just lay in my car and I literally just fall asleep, and I cry myself to sleep thinking if I wake up, this will all just be a dream. I'll be a millionaire. I'll be happy. I'll be a good provider for my wife. And I cry myself to sleep. And I wake up and I get an email. And I don't ever had emails back then. And it was another program, another one for another investment. But I felt the same voice. Who are you going to serve, Tyler? Money or me? I was like, holy freak, like how many times do I have to do this thing? So then I bought that program. I just kept doing it. I was like, no matter what, I'm going to move forward. I'm going to keep taking action. The next week, applying all these things, you get to a point where something cracks. Something breaks through. You either break down enough where you're down at your lowest, which I hit, to where you break through. And I was at that low. And I remember learning what I needed to learn, feeling how I needed to feel. And I went through these strategies, and on the airplane with my last $400 in my bank account, I enrolled somebody for the first time in my life for $1,500. And I literally cried to my wife. I was like, we have food money. Like, I'm going to be able to provide for you. And it was just this powerful feeling of, we're not going to die. If you've ever been in that position, it kind of sucks. But I remember just being so low and feeling like that was the best money I've ever made in my life. Like, I've made millions of dollars. But that first $1,500 was the coolest experience of my life. And I remember going through that experience thinking, wow, I think I've cracked the code. And that week, $6,400. Next month, $15K. 6 figures, multiple 6 figures. You will get there. Each of us has our own path. But you have to be willing to do the hard things. That old version of me would not be capable of handling what I have today. Not even close. Having 4 amazing kids, a phenomenal spouse, running multiple businesses and helping people attain and shift their stuff and writing books and doing all sorts of stuff that I thought were impossible back then. Now seems like another day in the park. So wherever you're at, whether it's a beginner and you're on that path or you're already doing well, but you just really want to take it to the next level, I just want to invite you to really look at this and explore. If something resonates here, if Candy resonates and she feels like she's going to be a good mentor, if we resonate, I invite you to have a conversation. Look at that. Like, seriously explore it. Because whatever it is that you need to confront, you're only going to confront it in a conversation. I'm so grateful I did the hard conversations. I'm so grateful I didn't look back and say, I wish I would have. What if I would have not listened? What if I would have not decided? I'd still be, it gives me chills thinking about who I would have still been. I would have struggled still with addictions and struggled with depression and struggled with all the same things, but I was ready. Some of you are almost ready. Some of you are getting there, and I hope that you feel inspired to just take action, whatever that is, whether it's applying what's been taught here or whether it's exploring next level. Those can be some of the best experiences for you. Is what if I believed that I could do this? What if I believed that it wasn't that big of a deal? And one of the best things I learned is that's easy, I can do that too. So when Candy's up here doing things, when I'm up here doing things, you might think, they're so good at that, and man, I wish I could do it, and we kind of judge that, right? So back 11 years ago, the first coach that I was getting, there was a second coach I was getting mentored by, he pitched something for $100,000 on stage. And I thought, holy crap, like this is insane. And then I thought, well, that's easy. I can do that too. That's easy, I can do that too. Try it on. That's easy, I can do that too. When you hear amazing stories, like, oh yeah, I just did a business deal for $5 million. That's easy, I could do that too, right? It becomes, a possibility instead of something that we shut down. You have to change how you perceive your vision if you truly want to attain your goals. Some of you might not be sure. You might have thoughts in your head wondering and opposition, and that's okay. You'll get there. But when you're ready, you have to decide. What is it you have to do? Decide, which is to cut away. You have to cut away the old self and how you act, and it means you can't fall back into the old patterns, right? And fortunately, you have some good help, like Paul, myself, Candy. Like, you have all the help that I wish I would have had. I had to figure this 98% of this stuff out on my own, going through one by one by one by one by one. But here, Candy has united so many powerful aspects to say, here's going to help you speak. Here's going to help you present. Here's going to help you coach. Here's going to help you confront all your inner demons. Here's going to help you shift things within minutes instead of years. Here's going to help you work on your money mindset. Here's going to help you brand. Here's going to help you do everything that I wish I could have had all in one place. I'm like, dang, dude, that would have been a freaking cool offer back then. I would have been like, I'm in, let's do this. Like, if I knew how much I had to go through to figure all that out, I'd be like, crap. That's so much time and energy that you can save. So when you think about what's valuable, it's time. Time is the most important thing because you can't ever get it back. For me, money is nothing now. I'm like, anything that comes my way, I say, does this save me time? Does this speed it up? If so, I'm all in. If it doesn't, it's not a fit. It's not for me. But if it helps me get what I want faster, I'm all in. Does this help? Yeah? Okay. Awesome. That's what I just wanted to share that. Hopefully it inspires some of you. If you just, anything you take away from this event, at the very least, don't be a victim to yourself, your past self. Allow yourself to see differently, be differently, and act differently. And every trigger is just a transformation waiting to happen. You've got to lean into that. If you get triggered by a conversation, an invitation, look at that. Say, ooh, if I handle this trigger, would this be something that I would want to help someone else through? Or do I want to have a story that says, I succumb to my triggers and I can't work through it? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything, and be the client that you want to have. If you want to have a client who confronts things, what should you do? Confront things, right? Who wants to have clients who pay in full for stuff? By show of hand? One person, two person, three people, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you want to know the best way to have clients who pay in full?
We pay in full.
You got it. Be that person. Who wants to have clients who do all their homework assignments? By show of hand. And get things done. 3 people, 4, 5. Okay, you want to know the best way to get clients to do their homework? Do your own homework. Who wants to have people who engage with you when you speak? By show of hand. Okay. What do you think you should do? Be engaging, right? Who wants to have raving fans? By show of hand. We got 5, 6. Okay, we're almost learning. Some of you haven't quite gotten it yet. It's like, oh yeah, that'd be cool in my head. Oh wait, I actually have to be that first? Oh, genius idea, right? You have to be it before you expect it. If I was broke and I acted broke and I thought broke and I did things as broke people do, guess what kind of people I attract? Broke people. If I am not creating a good relationship because I'm not confronting things, I'm not talking to people, I'm not addressing it, but I want someone who loves me, but I don't love myself, guess what I have to do? I have to love myself. You cannot expect someone to give you something that you have not yet embraced. If anything from this event, learn how to go first. Learn how to be the first. I've done that in my family. I'm the chain breaker. I am done with the victim mentalities. I am done with the divorce cycles. I am done with the poverty cycles. I am done with not stepping into things. I am done repeating patterns. I have decided enough is enough. I am never freaking going back. Ever. Because I know who I am and I know why I'm here. And I know that every single person on this planet has a mission, has a passion, has a purpose, but we have to go first. And that's a choice. Following that? Nudge somebody and say, I think I'm getting it now. Nudge somebody. Go ahead. I think I'm getting it now. All right. So thank you guys for letting me share these stories. Hopefully it's helped. Don't just let them be a story, though. Do something with it, whether it's here or there or somewhere. Take action in your life. Will you do that for me? Will you do that for yourselves? Okay, thank you guys so much. Give yourselves a huge round of applause.